Hello YouTube, bringing you the last deck profile of the day. Today we'll be doing my Union Arena deck for Hunter x Hunter Set 1. This game has just come out, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's basically Bandai's version of Weissworks. But in my opinion, it's way better than Weissworks. I think it's way more fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed this game. Been playing it since it came out in Japan on tap with a small group of friends. This is the first deck I made, and IRL, when I saw how cheap the game was, I was so happy I could build this deck. This is a pure Phantom Troop deck, so it's not the Illumi version that's been going around. This is a pure budget Phantom Troop deck. I think this deck is fine, pure. I really like it, and it gets really better with the second set of Hunter x Hunter. But I'll get to the deck profile right away. I hope you enjoy. I just really like playing. I think Crollo is just my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter. Expect a lot of deck profiles for Code Geass and Dr. Stone. Whenever Dr. Stone comes to English. And Code Geass is the set I've made, so definitely look forward to that in December. Really excited for Code Geass. Lancelot is best deck. Anyway, moving on, we'll start with the deck profile. We have the 3 action points. It can be any action point, but, you know, we had to get Crollo for the Crollo deck. Then we'll start off with the boss card of the deck. 4 copies of Raid Crollo. So the problem with this game, in my experience, is it's a very sacky game. It's like Vanguard to an extent when it comes to, like, if you hit life triggers, you can really turn a game around, like the final trigger and all that. And this game really comes down to your top ends. If you don't see your raids or your boss cards, you're in a very bad position. And if you don't see a 0 drop to get your energy going, it can snowball really bad. So you gotta be very careful about how you deck build. But also knowing what raid you want to focus on is really important. But this is the raid for our deck, the pure Crollo deck. I play 4 copies of Raid Crollo. When you raid, it has raid onto any Crollo, and it has impact 1, so even if it's blocked, it still deals damage. So if they don't have impact negate, damage is going through. And then when played, you may copy any of your Phantom, if you have a certain number of Phantom Troops, you may copy any of their on-play effects. So, and a lot of the Phantom Troop have an on-play effect. I think the only one that doesn't is like Uvogin. And if decks run it, you'll know why. I run it. I love Uvogin. Some decks do not run Uvogin. I think Uvogin is the... I'll get to that when I get to... Next, we run 2 copies of Hisoka. Only 2. I don't want to brick on Hisoka. He costs 6 energy, so you need to have 6 energy. So you need to have the double energies. And you also need to play 2 action points for him. And he can be really... He has impact 1. He's a 45k body, which is really good. And he can kind of get rid of a pesky card in the front line with something in their energy line. So kind of a situational removal, but it does come up, and when it does, it's amazing. He's also your biggest body. He also has on play, so if you're able to break him out, and you have 2, say your opponent has 2 big raid bodies for 5,000, but they have a full energy line, get rid of that, bring 1 up. And it can be like that. It's pretty good. But again, it's a little situational. Sometimes I end up discarding him. But he does come up. Next, I run 2 copies of Phaeton. Now, you could run more Phaeton. He's a 2 energy, but he's also a double action point. But his one play effect is absolutely one of the best ones. So again, you could bump this up. Choose one of your opponent's characters when unplayed, and it reduces by BP by 2,000. If BP is reduced to 0, the card is destroyed in this game. And if you have 4 less life, you reduce it by 3,000 instead. So that can really quickly pile up, because the biggest body is normally is just a 4k. So reducing it by 3k is pretty good, especially because it can make it harder for them to block. This is a really good card. Moving on, I play 4 copies of Uvogin. Don't care. Love this card. Uvogin's the GOAT. He's a generic 2 damage card. And, yeah, he's also, during your turn, he's a 5,000 beater. It's one of the best, especially if going forward when we get the, Code Geass stuff with Lancelot being 5,000. This is the best way to punch over them. And if they don't block it, they're taking 2 damage. So they got to choose. And also, it's a one action point for 2 damage. So I normally put it in my energy line, and I'll move it up on the next turn. That way it's safe from the energy line. Absolutely love this card. Probably do cut it a little bit going forward with the other set. I have to relook at that list. I will be doing an update deck profile whenever we do get second set of Hunter x Hunter. Next, the other best card in the deck, we run Nobunaga. Basically on play, if you have I believe you have 3 or more Phantom Troops, you reduce by 1,000. So yeah, just a really good card. We'll move to the next one. We have 3 copies of Franklin. On play, all your opponent's characters in the front row lose 5,000. So and it's also another double energy for the deck. 1 action point, 3 energy. So this is normally the card I'll play to my energy line to reduce their low-level blockers. 1 Shellnark, just for certain matchups. It doesn't come up a lot, and I believe I dropped it going forward. But 1 Blade, you may play up to 1 character with 3 or less required AP, 1 action point. And Troope, other affinity of Shellnark. Basically, you can't play himself. The sideline resting to your field. And it's basically, he's really weird. I forgot, like, I had to reread him, but, like, he's basically a very tech choice. You could probably drop him if you wanted to for another copy of Franklin. I run one of him as a tech, because he does come up very, very rarely. And so rarely I forgot, because it's been a while since I've gotten to test this deck competitively. I do want to go to a local for this soon. I believe there's one in Philly that does one. So there's 4 copies of my favorite on-play, Shizuku. On-play, draw. Just on-play, draw a card. We also run him for his trigger effect, which is basically to a stand trigger that gives 3k. Next we run our color trigger of the deck for Crollo. On-play, check top 4. Add a Phantom Troope and then discard a card. Color trigger, play a character Phantom Troope for 2 costs or less. Then we play 4 of our standard double energy Maki. On play, bounce a character to your hand. Our standard 2 energy. 2 copies of Pakanoka. When retired, draw. 4 copies of Finks. It has trigger. Basically stand one of your guys and give it 3k power. And one play, you can draw 1, pitch 1. So you set up your trash and filter your deck. And then finally, trigger, add this card to your hand. This is your standard 0. So I run 10 zeros just so I can see them more consistently. I've seen some lists run 8. I think that's a big mistake. I think 10 is the best. You can't go lower than 10. If you don't see a 0, you're too far behind in this game. Then, again, you can only run 4 color triggers, 4 final triggers, and 4 special triggers. And, of course, running 4 of the GOAT trigger. Skill Hunter, Bandit Secret. Basically reduce something by 3k, and then choose one of your Phantom Troops and copy it on play effects of Crollo. So, if you have Nobunaga, you copy that and kill something. So, you kill a 3k, and you can kill like a 1k. Or you can kill straight up 4k. And, yeah. And then, basically, I believe it's special one is to kill something. Yep. So triggers to steal something, and you have your standard Underworld Resonant. Final trigger, if this is your last life, you heal, and then basically choose 2 of your action points and untap them to extend your turn. If you're not playing 4 of each of these in every deck, you're doing something wrong. That's all I'm saying. Those cards will win you the game, at least currently. Maybe going forward, something will change. We'll get new triggers, and we'll have to choose something. But as it stands, that is it for my Union Arena deck. It is my pure Phantom Troope deck. I put my old Lucimon sleeves on it because I haven't been able to afford the new Lucimon stuff to make Lucimon control. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Also, if you want to know how to make these sleeves, Dragon Shield Card Maker. Love those sleeves. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. It was really fun to play this deck. It's one of my favorite games currently. Just really fun game. I'm really looking forward to future sets like Code Geass. Can't wait. Gintama. Really excited for that. I do love Bleach, but I'm not. They don't have any holo decks, so maybe I'll build a Quincy deck eventually. But yeah, I'm very excited. Yu Hakusho is definitely a deck I'm picking up. If they make Death Note or Zatch Bell, that's an instant buy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I hope to bring more Union Arena profiles soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.